Hey YouTube, it's Elizabeth, Finding Elizabeth, and today is Monday, July 6th, and this is my week 64 post-op vertical sleeve update, and I say exactly the same thing every time I start a video. But anyway, my starting weight in January of 2014 was 402 pounds. My surgery weight on April 14th, 2014 was 360.6 pounds. My weight last week was 216.8 pounds, and my weight this week was 211.6 pounds. What? 5 pounds? 64 weeks out? Well, last week I gained 3 pounds, and it was that time of the month, and I had misplaced my hydrochlorothiazide, which is a diuretic, for like a week and a half. So probably, I did do very well this week in terms of food, but probably the real loss is probably like a 2-pound loss. But anyway, 211.6, as everybody says, I will take it. So that's 5.2 pounds since last week, 149 pounds since surgery, and 190.4 pounds since I started this process a long time, like a year and a half ago. So what's new this week? First, I want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. There's been a big influx over the last couple of weeks, and I think sometimes I forget that I'm not just talking to the people I already know and people who are further along in the process. So I just want to thank everybody who's pre-op or newly post-op for subscribing. I don't know if I'll have time in this video, but if I don't, I'm going to do a separate video on the 4 things that I think are most helpful for weight loss surgery success. So I'm sure everybody's waiting for that with bated breath. So anyway, this week was much better for me in terms of food. I feel like some switch flipped in terms of the craving for foods and for wanting to be eating all the time. I don't know what caused that to happen. I don't know what causes it to happen usually when it switches on the other way, but I'm just happy it did. One other thing I noticed, and Melly May talked about this in her video this week, was I was really busy this last week from work. I typically work at home, but I had a lot of outside meetings last week, and so was just busy going back and forth and doing things, and not at home where the refrigerator and the cabinet are easy access for me, and that was much easier. So I've started, when I very first started making YouTube videos, every week I talked about my calories, protein, carbs, etc. And I know Amy Gets a VSG does that as well. And I've decided to start doing it again. I think actually it's probably even more important now than it was then, because then, yeah, there was only so much you could eat. Now, you can eat a lot more. So, got to put on my glasses for this. So, my average calories for last week. Oh, and also this keeps me on MyFitnessPal, because I can't do this without tracking on MyFitnessPal every day. I have 8 days now on MyFitnessPal. My average number of calories last week were 1,090. Average protein was 78 grams. And I'm good with both of those. I mean, usually I have 1,200 as my calorie goal, so I'm good with that. I'm good with protein. I set 80 to 100 grams of protein for my goal. Carbs were average of 83. I want to try to bring that down next week by 10. Fiber average was 21. I want to bring that one up by 10. And my water was average of 70 ounces. So I'd also like to bring that up by 10. So those are my goals for this week. Carbs down 10 grams average, fiber up 10 grams average, water up 10 ounces average. So that's what I'm working on. I did not exercise much last week. I think the last day I saw Brandon was Monday. I had a meeting on Wednesday, so I couldn't go in the morning. And Saturday, 4th of July, he wanted to take the day off. I'll give him that. Okay. So, and today I couldn't go because I had a meeting in LA. So I'll be back on Wednesday. I didn't walk much last week either. I'm going to pick that back up today. And then I will also in the next week's video, I'll report my average steps and exercise. I think Amy did minutes of physical activity, which I like. I'm a numbers person. Well, not really. Amy's a numbers person, probably more than I am, but I like to, know where I stand and what I'm doing, and then it's easier to make changes. So NSVs this week. I had a really big NSV this week, and I post everything on Facebook, but so anybody who follows me on Facebook probably read this. I had a meeting on Wednesday, and Tuesday night before I went and bought a new dress at Macy's because I need new dresses because I don't have enough. I cleaned out my closet this weekend. I have 15 dresses hanging in my closet that I wear regularly. That is like crazy pants. I have not, I didn't wear dresses for years. Now I love dresses, and I love things that are fitted. I used to buy really just sort of blocky clothes. Don't do that anymore. Won't even pick those things up, like the peasant skirts and the stuff like that. Yeah, not a fan. I like stuff that is more fitted, even though I'm still over 200 pounds. Whatever. I like it better. But anyway, I got this new dress that I really liked. I got some new Spanx to wear under it. And the place where we had the meeting, which was at Google in LA, they have a really nice bathroom and a nice full-length mirror in there, and there weren't a lot of people in there. So I found every time that I went to the restroom, I was sort of checking myself out in that full-length mirror. And this is the first time that I've looked at that reflection and thought, holy shit, that's my head on somebody else's body. What up with that? Where did that come from? It's pretty amazing. I like the way my body looks. I like the way it looks in clothes. Let's put it that way. Without clothes, not so great. But nobody's seen it without clothes now anyway, so I guess that doesn't matter much. But I don't know. I like the way I look. I still have weight to lose for sure. I mean, I think, more than 50 pounds to get to my goal. But I'm happy with how I look. I feel good about how I look. And not just my face. Usually I felt good about my face, but I like the way I look, and that's a pretty cool NSV. And the other thing was, I felt like I was one of the, more put together, fashionable women in the room at that meeting. And one of those people in that room was Gina Davis. So that's saying something. I wasn't better than her, but, I wasn't better than anyone, but I'm just saying, I felt from being the person who always felt like you're the ugliest, you're the fattest, you're the whatever in the room, was really great to feel like, hey, I look good. I can't believe I said that like that. Anyway, what else? Oh, so for a few weeks I've been talking about setting some goals in areas of my life. And I did that, and when initially it's like, oh, what's your year goal? What's your life goal? What's your blah, blah, blah? And it's like, you know what? That's too much for me. I am going to set goals between now and October 15th in a couple of areas, and then track and see how I do with those. So I want to share those with you guys, and I want to hold myself accountable. I'll report back probably like once a month, maybe at the beginning of every month between now and October 15th, and at the end on how I'm doing. So in terms of health and fitness, I just sort of want to replicate what I did last week in terms of my food consumption and tracking it in MyFitnessPal, and I think it was a pretty good week. So I had set a goal this year of 200 workouts in whatever year this is, 2015. I'm up to about, probably about 80. I haven't recorded the last few, so I'm not exactly sure, but I'm right around there. I want to do 70 workouts between now and then. That's pretty ambitious, but that's kind of the only way that I'm going to get to that 200 number, because I've fallen a little behind. So that's my goal, to get to 150 workouts by October 15th. We'll see how that goes. And then the other thing is I want to attend 15 OA meetings. I didn't go last week because I had my meeting on one of those days and I was in LA, but I'm going to go back this week. It's from now until October 15th is 15 weeks, so that's where I'm coming up with those numbers. So at least once a week. I'm going to do that, explore that, see how that works for me. Okay, in terms of my career, and I'm not talking about my current career, these are all goals about sort of, figuring out what I may be passionate about. So there's a book by Danielle Laporte called The Firestarter Sessions that I've started before, and it kind of helps you explore your passions in terms of what you're doing. So I am, for once and all, finally going to read that book all the way through and do the exercises. I also posted this on Facebook the other day, but I had been thinking about writing about this journey and my life before this journey and blah, blah, blah. And I had reached out to a friend who is a very successful nonfiction writer to ask her to coach me through this process. So we have our first coaching session on August 6th. I'm excited about that. But then, of course, after I did that, I started to freak out because there are things in my life that I don't know that I'm, not so much that I'm not ready to talk about if it was just me, but it's like, do you want to, how's that going to impact other people who were involved? And, you are sometimes politely dishonest with people in your life, and I would think that for this, I couldn't be that. So, I don't know, but I just finally just said, oh, Elizabeth, shut the fuck up. Just focus on getting back into writing because you used to love to do it. It used to be a great creative outlet, and I haven't done it in a long time. So my goals around that are to write for 30 minutes 5 days a week and to read for 30 minutes 5 days a week. So those seem manageable. Okay, what else? Financial. So this is an area where I really struggle because no matter how much money I make, I spend it faster than it can even come in. So what I decided in terms of goals for this was to dedicate 20 minutes a day to, I should say 5 days a week because I'm probably not going to do that on the weekend. 20 minutes a day to my finances, to budgeting, to recording expenses, to making a plan, that kind of thing. I have, from when I started my own business, I have IRS debt. So I want to come up with a plan to pay, and I'm on a payment plan and it's all fine, but it's going to take me 150 years to pay it off that way. I want to come up with a plan on how I can get that paid off in 3 years so that I can kind of start fresh and look about maybe possibly at some point buying a home. And the last thing is I filed an extension on my tax return to file my return by 10/15 with all payments made in full. So those are my goals. That's what I'm doing. I'm not going to get to the 4 tips to weight loss success in this video because I'm already at 13 minutes. But just a couple quick shout outs. I want to send a shout out to my lovely friend, Watch Patty Melt. I posted on Facebook a before and after picture of her that is amazing. She's not on Facebook anymore, but if you haven't seen it, go check out my Facebook page. It's mind-boggling, the changes in her. And she has just been such a huge support and wonderful and appropriately sarcastic and snarky friend to have along the way, for me anyway. But sorry, Patty, you're not really snarky. We won't tell anybody. And I want to give a shout out to Dennis Finney, who got approval for his plastic surgery, and to Trisha from Pretty Losers. I watched her video quickly today, and sounds like she's lost about 100 pounds since she started this process, and is almost at 50 pounds lost since she started her liquid diet. So I wanted to give a shout out to her. All right, that's it. I will talk to you guys next week.